Hey everyone, Logan here. I wanted to show you the progress that I have been making on my pinball machine. As you can see, I actually have cut this out. I was able to get this CNC'd. So all I did was I put two pieces of MDF together, and then I cut out the middle, hogged all that out. And some of the features here, now I still have these pieces. These broke off. And it actually wasn't from the CNC directly, it was from other pieces breaking off, that were supposed to be cut away and flying into these and just breaking them off. So, a few things here. I've got some switches. Now, all this is temporarily mocked up. These have to go in a little bit more permanently. I have to figure out exactly how the ball is going to roll through them. And I'm not sure that these rubber bands are going to stay, if for no other reason that they bounce the ball off really hard. They go a little bit harder than I'd really like, but we'll see. Yep, there you go. All right, so got some bolts in here, got the flippers here. These are going to be pictures, and there's switches over there that aren't actually mounted yet. You can see right there. They go there, and then they trigger these to light up. They're also going to give 100 points for each time they get triggered, and then once all 8 are lit up, then they're going to give 1,000 points. And here's going to be the pop bumpers. Got a pop bumper I'm working on right here, and I finished the scoreboard there. So let's go ahead and turn this on. There we go. Now when this comes up, you can see it doesn't go to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up using a time relay so that it, like a quarter second, half second after it turns on, it'll automatically reset that. But if I hit the reset button there, now it goes to 0. And you can see I'm waiting for that new one to come in there. But all the chips have been replaced, so everything's showing up correctly on here. I'm having an interesting problem with the score. And I don't have enough things set up here to actually show this, but basically the way I end up getting this relay to work, or this setup to work, is that the ones position needs a positive voltage, comes through here. Okay, now you can trigger that through the ones relay, but the rest of these end up needing a 0 voltage. In other words, they need a connection to the ground rather than to 12 volts. So that's why I put them all through these relays here, so I can trigger all these relays with a positive voltage, like that, and it just triggers whatever needs to happen. So this one has 12 volts running through this side of the relay. The rest of them have a connection to ground. And I put these capacitors in here that seem to really smooth out the noise. So they are in parallel running to ground. But I may need to make these smaller, because sometimes you can get like a double trigger. And it seems to be working. Oh, there you go. So you got a double trigger. There is also something weird that happens, but I'll have to see if I can demonstrate it another time once I get more of this hooked up, is that sometimes if I trigger 10s or 100s, when this flips over to 10,000 points, so it only happens 10,000, from 9,999 or something there to 10,000, not from 10,000 to 20,000. Something happens where it will sometimes reset those other 3 to zeros. So like if I'm at 9,900 and you get another 1,000 points to 10,900, it'll reset those to be zeros. I haven't quite figured out why that is, but I also have to do some more testing and demonstrate it here. So we got the flippers. Now these LEDs right here, those eventually won't be LEDs. Those will be the actual flipper coils going through there. But both of those work. That's pretty good. And then we've got the switches over here. Let me show you this, how all these work here. So we've got these, and every time I trigger one of these, we get an LED that lights up. Now one of these LEDs is not functioning right now, and this one right here, I'm not quite sure why that is. So I have to pull this apart and figure it out. But now if I trigger these, there's another one. Oh, too much. There you go. Another one and another one. The circuit still works. Now, I also need another relay in here that's a time delay. So when I trigger this last one, what's going to happen is they should all reset, and we end up getting another 1,000 points here. So right now we're at 20, it looks like 23,000. So when I trigger this, there's still one that's left on. And that's why I need time delay before. So what's happening is each one of those is triggering one of 8 relays here, okay? So these 8 here are getting triggered and they're keeping themselves on when you trigger one of these switches. But then what's happening is that this one, these 8 here are all in series. So every time you trigger one of these, it triggers one of these. And once all 8 of them are on, the circuit travels through here in series and then out to the points relay. And over here, it also triggers, so all 8 of these in series trigger this relay as well. This relay is actually giving power to all these boards, so that when all 8 of these gets triggered, this turns on and takes away power, and they reset themselves. So that's actually pretty simple, but what's happening is that the switch press is happening slower than the reset. So by the time these come back into power, I'm still, once this relay turns itself back off, I'm still holding on to this, I think, and then there's still power running through there, turning that one particular relay back on. So I have to get a time delay, I think, so that it stays off for an extra maybe half second before it all comes back on. And what else? These are all going to be, so we've decided on a Winnie the Pooh theme. We have a very important democracy in this house. I get a vote, the wife gets a vote, and then we do whatever she wants. So these are all going to be Winnie the Pooh pictures. And so each one of them will slowly get lit up. And then these will also be triggered. There'll be pictures. These triggers will be Winnie the Pooh pictures as well. And then I think I'm going to have to put a bolt or something in between here so that it doesn't like hit one on the side or hit it down and hit the other one. So something in between here just so it can't hit each one of these on the side. And then, of course, each one of these is going to be, I haven't recreated the specials circuit yet for those, but what's going to happen here, this coil works pretty well. There you go. So this goes in pretty well. It took me quite a while. A lot of these circuits, a lot of these coils, I should say, are like 600 or 700 turns, and it took me a little while to figure out how many turns I needed. And I ended up going with 1,000 turns, which is probably overkill. But I found out part of the reason that I was having issues is the spring was stretched out fully. Solenoids, when they activate, they always want to try and pull the whatever's inside them to the center so that they're perfectly centered around here. And what was happening is with this coil all the way up, it had enough room where it would kind of sit not all the way down, and then it wouldn't have very much room to pull. So I wasn't getting the power out of it that I wanted. So I ended up increasing the voltage, increasing the number of turns, and I still wasn't getting the result. All I really had to do was put the spring farther down so that it was already compressed. It would hold up under gravity. It would hold itself up. And then the coil's still powerful enough to spring that down. I only need about 1 inch of travel because the ball's going to come in here. There's going to be an angled piece up here. The ball's going to come in, being about 1 inch tall. And then it's going to slam down and shoot the ball out. So I still have to create those. It's actually going to be on this end. It'll just screw right on there. So this is actually reversed, but just for my testing there. So yeah, that's the progress so far. Still quite a ways to go. A lot of things to do, a lot of painting to do. The whole thing's going to be a Winnie the Pooh theme, although I can't say I'm a very good artist, so we'll see how that all turns out. And I still have to get the lights. There's also going to be a ball save here. I have to cut this out. But yeah, just figured I'd give you guys an update. And if you have any idea how to fix that, definitely let me know. Thanks. Have a good day.